curious because there's a statement in here that talks about his,
It was after that Brent Jones had said that he had already scheduled a lunch or breakfast or something with Mr. Groves and wanted to know if he should keep that appointment, and I suggested that he not keep the appointment under the circumstances.
Senator Kevin.
let me just read this statement. It just says, Mr. Groves, this is Eric, I'm sorry, this is Exhibit A, or Section A.
So Mr. Groves written.
Eric Groves statement, and then it's page 3, second paragraph, last couple of sentences. It says, Mr. Groves mentioned, the first part says, Mr. Groves spoke with Brent Jones by telephone on December 15th, et cetera, et cetera. Then at the bottom says, Mr. Groves mentioned that he had been attempting to contact Recollect Acre, but she had not returned his phone calls. Mr. Groves remembers mentioning to Mr. Jones that he wanted to speak with Recollect Acre about the leadership race, but he did not ask Mr. Jones to advocate for either candidate on his behalf. And I guess, obviously, since this took place on the 15th, you're talking to him on the 16th. Had you had a chance to talk to Brent Jones between this call and your discussion with Eric Groves about his desire?
I talked to Brent Jones on the 15th about the phone calls I'd gotten, and then talked to him on the 16th when I found out they were going to use my statement as the basis for this complaint.
Can you tell us, because we didn't talk about that during your testimony, the conversations that you had with Mr. Jones, Representative Bradford, and someone else whose name I didn't look up?
I was waiting in the parking lot at this event at the Heather Gardens. All this had just transpired with the phone messages. I called Representative Bradford on my cell phone to ask her if she'd been heavily lobbied by lobbyists on this leadership election, if she'd gotten any calls that were asking for support in exchange for any kind of favors or anything like that, and she hadn't. And she just said no, that she'd gotten a lot of calls too from legislators like I had, but there was nothing, she hadn't gotten contacted by lobbyists. So that, from my perspective, wasn't very helpful. I called Tory Brown. I met him inside at the party and met Brent Jones inside, and then pulled them aside and asked if they'd gotten any calls, that I'd received these calls, and just wanted them to know that I hadn't responded to them, and asked Tory Brown for suggestions on how I should, should I return the calls or should I not return them.
And again, Mr. Jones was your chief of staff, and Mr. Brown was your
campaign manager.
Representative Kerr is your engineer. No. Further questions, Mr. Kaufman?
Just one. Going back to the meeting when Mr. Groves came into your office on the 16th, did he, and he talked about campaign contributions and the leadership race. Did he ever say anything to you that would have made the contributions contingent on how you would vote on the leadership race?
No, absolutely not. He never said that.
Further questions? Senator Academy.
Those, the messages that you got included some members from the Colorado Chiropractic Association as well over that weekend? Is that?
That same afternoon.
Okay.
There were 3 calls not too far apart.
Okay. And the one call was from?
Eric Groves. The other 2 were from different doctors, Schuster and
Yes, it's all public record now, just FYI, is my understanding. So, and did they make any reference to Eric or anybody else talking to them to call you,
No.
or was it just?
No.
I'm going to have to find, I'm hoping that I can get you to translate the notes on the
material contains the one from Dr. Schuster, Dr. Batanzi. Material representing bakery section of the, which would be,
So like in exhibit 5, there's a couple of them. And, yeah, but that's true, not all of them.
I think exhibit 2, Mr. Chairman, has the,
Exhibit 2 of your,
no, exhibit 2 of the book put together by Legislative Legal Services has all of them, I believe.
right, it has these.
Yes, sir.
Are you talking about section 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes, section 2. But you actually have in your exhibit 6, a couple of them that I can actually discern a little bit better. I think those are these two. And so I can, the copy that you have is actually readable where it looks like. So I guess, that says leadership vote. That says Eric Groves.
Cairo,
Okay.
chiropractor.
And then has a number that's 303 and then 228 1200. Is that close?
Yes.
228. So, and then cell 97064077717. And then this one that says Nelson.
Nancy,
And then has his phone number and then lobbying for Balmer.
yes.
And then the last one says Steve Schuster, Cairo Association, and then 961, some number 033.
Yes.